All right, so get this. Somebody reached out and wants to talk AI.
Okay.
And specifically, like, what impact it could have,
Mm.
So to, like, really go deep on this, we've got two articles. One is 14 Dangers of Artificial Intelligence, that's from Built In.
Okay.
And the other one is AI, the Good, the Bad, and the Scary from Virginia Tech's College of Engineering.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is the Virginia Tech one, they've brought in all kinds of different experts.
Really?
Yeah, we've got mechanical engineers, computer scientists, people from the construction industry, even aerospace engineers, all weighing in on AI.
Wow, that's like they put together like a dream team to tackle this topic.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, right? I mean, AI is already kind of like woven into so many parts of our lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's start with like the good stuff. What's the potential upside of all this AI stuff?
Well, both articles highlight some pretty incredible possibilities.
Okay.
For example, the Virginia Tech article, it talks about how AI could be used to, design buildings
Oh, okay.
and that can withstand earthquakes
Interesting.
and optimize energy consumption in like huge construction projects. It's not just about building things faster, but like building them better and
Right.
safer.
Oh, that's a game changer.
Yeah,
Especially as our cities grow, and we're facing like climate change and all that. It's like AI could help us like build a more resilient future.
exactly.
It's like cool.
What else? Well, the potential for AI to like really improve people's lives.
Yeah.
That's really exciting, right?
Yeah, tell me more.
So think about assistive robots that could help elderly folks be more independent,
Right.
or mobile wheelchairs that can navigate like really tough environments.
I see.
I mean, that's the kind of impact that like that gets me fired up.
I can see why. That's amazing. And it's not just about like physical help, right?
No.
The Virginia Tech article also talks about how AI could like revolutionize healthcare from
Oh,
like
okay.
diagnosing diseases earlier to personalizing treatment plans and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't forget about education either.
Oh, right.
Imagine AI tutors that can like tailor their teaching style to each student, based on their needs.
Yeah.
AI could like totally change the way we access quality education, make it way more available for everybody.
Yeah. That's powerful stuff.
Right.
But I gotta admit, I'm also like a little wary,
Yeah.
Before we get too carried away with all the like positive possibilities,
Right.
we need to talk about like the downsides too.
Of course, yeah.
This built-in article, they don't shy away from the risks.
Yeah, no, they don't.
What are some of the things that like worry you?
One of the biggest concerns is like job displacement.
Okay.
The built-in article, it cites some uh, pretty alarming stats from
Really?
McKinsey and Goldman Sachs
Oh, wow.
about like how many jobs could be lost across all kinds of industries due to automation.
See, that's the tough part, right? Like progress is great, but not if it comes at the cost of people's, livelihoods.
Exactly. And it's not just about losing jobs either.
Right.
It's about, the possibility of AI making existing inequalities even worse.
Oh, okay.
The article points out that automation could like disproportionately hit lower wage workers.
Oh, I see.
So the gap between the haves and have-nots could get even bigger.
So it's not just a tech issue, it's like a social and economic issue too.
Right, it is.
We got to think carefully about like how we implement AI so it helps everyone, not just like a select few.
That's the goal.
What else should we be like cautious about?
Well, another big concern is like the lack of transparency around how AI is being developed.
Hmm.
The built-in article talks about
Okay.
there are people from OpenAI and Google DeepMind
Right.
who are like raising red flags about potential dangers, stuff that's being kept quiet.
So they're like whistleblowers almost?
Kinda, yeah.
Wow.
And, without transparency, it's tough to like trust this tech.
Yeah, and without trust, it's hard to have open conversations about how to, regulate AI
Right.
and make sure it's used ethically.
Exactly.
And speaking of ethical considerations, the built-in article also brings up like the possibility of AI being used for bad stuff,
Yeah.
like creating deep fakes that spread misinformation or
Or,
developing like autonomous weapons
But-
that could make like life or death decisions without a human being involved.
that's right.
Okay, now I'm officially getting nervous.
Yeah.
Autonomous weapons sounds straight out of like a sci-fi nightmare.
I know what you mean.
Do you think that's a legitimate concern or is it just like Hollywood hype?
I think it's a concern we got to take seriously.
Okay.
The article mentions that thousands of experts back in 2016 signed an open letter urging like a full stop to the development of autonomous weapons.
Wow.
These are like serious people who really understand the risks here.
So it's not just some like fringe idea. It's
Yeah.
something people are already worried about.
Yeah.
It's kind of unsettling.
It is.
But before we spiral into a full-blown AI panic attack, let's take a deep breath and move on to the scary stuff.
Okay.
Well, I guess maybe scarier is the right word.
Yeah.
What else does the Virginia Tech article point you as potential downsides?
Well, some of the experts in that piece, especially Eugene Euro and Dylan Losey,
Okay.
they're worried about AI's impact on, like, human connection and critical thinking skills.
What do you mean?
They're concerned that as we rely more on AI to create content and, interact with the world,
Mm-hmm.
we might lose the ability to think for ourselves and have meaningful relationships.
You mean like we become so dependent on AI chatbots for companionship that we forget how to have like real conversations?
Exactly. That's what they're worried about. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And it's something we got to be aware of.
Right.
And it's not just about personal relationships. It's about our ability as a society to, like, think critically
Okay.
and make good decisions.
That is a scary thought.
It is?
It's almost like AI could like undermine our humanity if we're not careful.
Yeah, that's the fear.
But enough doom and gloom for now.
Okay.
Let's shift gears and talk about what we can do to like mitigate these risks,
Okay.
What are the solutions?
Well, both articles offer some ideas.
Okay.
The built-in piece, for example, emphasizes legal regulations
Okay.
and government initiatives like the AI Bill of Rights
Oh, interesting.
and President Biden's executive order on AI safety.
So it sounds like there are already some efforts underway to like set some guidelines
Yeah, there are.
and like guardrails for AI development.
Right.
That's encouraging.
It is. The built-in article also stresses the need for what they call organizational AI standards.
Okay, what's that?
It basically means that, companies developing AI need to be having open discussions about ethics
Mm-hmm.
and, like, build a culture of responsibility and transparency.
That makes sense. Like if the people creating this tech aren't having those tough conversations about ethics from the beginning, it's just going to be way harder to address those issues later on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where this idea of a human-centered approach to AI comes in.
Oh,
The built-in article mentions some Stanford researchers, Fei-Fei Li and John Eckamandy,
okay.
and they're big proponents of bringing in different perspectives
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about ethical issues right from the start of the design process.
So it's not just about writing code, it's about thinking about the human impact of that code.
Yes,
I
exactly.
like that.
It's about making sure that AI is serving us, and not the other way around.
Right.
And that's going to take a lot of collaboration and critical thinking and a willingness to ask the hard questions.
Well, this deep dive has definitely been like a roller coaster of emotions. We've
Yes.
gone from all the excitement about how AI could make lives better to the very real worries about the problems it could create.
Yeah, and we've only just scratched the surface.
Right. There's so much more to talk about. Yeah. It feels like we're at this like crossroads,
Yeah.
with this tech. On the one hand, AI could solve like some of humanity's biggest problems,
Right.
but on the other, there are these serious risks we just can't ignore.
It's a tricky situation for sure. And one thing that makes it even trickier is how fast AI is evolving.
Yeah.
Like what sounds like science fiction today could be real tomorrow.
I know. It's hard to even like keep up sometimes.
It is.
And that's exactly why these kinds of conversations are so important.
Yeah, I think so too.
We have to be like really thinking critically about what this technology means and making good choices about how we want to use it.
I totally agree. And it's not just, policymakers or tech people who need to be involved.
Right.
This affects all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
We all need to be educated about AI so we can participate in these conversations and, push for responsible development.
So, like, where do we go from here? What are some practical steps we can take to make sure AI is used for good?
Well, the built-in article suggests starting with clear ethical guidelines for how AI is developed.
Okay.
They talk about this human-centered approach
Mm-hmm.
where human well-being and doing good for society are prioritized, over just advancing technology for its own sake.
Yeah, we need to remember AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, it can be used in good ways or bad ways.
Absolutely.
It depends on the people using it.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have lots of different voices involved
Yeah.
when we're making decisions about AI.
Like who?
Not just, engineers and developers,
Right.
but also like ethicists, social scientists,
Okay.
people from different communities, everyday citizens.
It's about making sure AI reflects the values of like the society it's supposed to be serving.
Exactly.
We need to be deliberate about designing AI systems that are fair, equitable, and accountable.
Absolutely. And a good way to do that is to focus on developing AI systems that are like transparent and explained.
Explainable how.
So the built-in article talks about this.
Okay.
It's about being able to understand how AI systems are making their decisions
Mm-hmm.
so we can identify, potential bias or errors.
That's a good point. If we don't even understand how an AI system is working,
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to trust it, right?
it is.
Especially when those judgments have real-world consequences,
Right?
like in healthcare, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to let some black box algorithm, I don't get diagnosed me.
I hear that. That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Transparency is really key.
Okay.
And it's not just about the algorithms being transparent,
Right.
but also the data used to train these systems.
Oh, right, because if the data is biased, then the AI will be biased too.
Exactly.
And that could have huge implications for all sorts of things, hiring decisions, loan approvals, even the criminal justice system.
All of that, yeah.
Yes.
It's a big responsibility, one we got to take seriously.
Yeah, it's not enough to just build cool new tech.
No.
We have to think about the impact that tech will have on people and society as a whole.
I agree.
It feels like we should be asking some tough questions.
Yeah.
Like, what are the potential downsides of this tech that we aren't even thinking of yet?
Right.
How can we make sure AI empowers people and doesn't exploit them? How do we keep AI from just making existing inequalities worse?
Those are all good questions, really important ones.
Yeah,
And there are no easy answers.
right.
But that's why it's so crucial to keep having these conversations.
Yeah.
We need open and honest dialogue. We need to challenge what we think we know and be willing to change direction if necessary.
You got to be flexible.
Yeah,
Because AI is always changing.
exactly. What seems impossible today could be normal tomorrow.
It's kind of what makes this whole topic so fascinating,
Yeah, okay.
and so
I
important.
totally agree.
AI really could change the world in huge ways.
It could.
And it's up to us to decide what kind of world that will be.
That's the power we have, yeah.
Wow, this is a lot to think about.
It is.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From all the potential good AI could do to the very real risks.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a technology that needs our attention.
And our careful consideration. We can't just sit back and watch it happen.
Right.
We need to be actively involved in shaping the future of AI.
So what can we do as individuals to make a difference?
Well, for one, stay informed. Read articles like the ones we've been talking about. Follow experts in the field. Talk about AI with your friends and family. Keep the conversation going.
So education is key.
Definitely. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to make good decisions and push for responsible development.
We got to become informed citizens in the age of AI.
Yes, exactly.
Can't leave it all up to the tech companies and governments to figure this out.
Right.
We all have a part to play.
We do.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
No, please do.
Challenge what you hear. Think critically about the information you're seeing and reading.
That's so important.
If something about AI feels wrong to you, speak up.
Yes, speak up.
It's like we're all part of this big experiment, right?
In a way, yeah.
And we need to be actively shaping the outcome. We need to voice our concerns, our hopes, our vision for the future.
Absolutely.
And remember, this isn't like a one-time conversation,
Right.
AI is constantly evolving. We got to stay engaged and flexible.
The key.
What seems far-fetched today could be our reality tomorrow.
Exactly. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah. So AI is powerful.
Incredible.
And it could be incredibly beneficial,
It could.
but also incredibly dangerous.
That's true.
It all comes down to how we decide to use it.
That's the heart of it.
So let's choose wisely.
I couldn't agree more.
It really feels like we're on the verge of something huge.
Yeah.
AI has this potential to totally change the world as we know it, but it comes with some pretty big risks too.
It does. It's almost like we've got this amazing power and we're not quite sure what to do with it.
Right.
Exciting and scary all at the same time.
Exactly. That's why this whole deep dive has been so mind-blowing.
I know, right?
We started by looking at how AI could improve things like healthcare and make our cities safer.
Yeah.
But then we had to face the possibility of job losses and even autonomous weapons, which is kind of terrifying.
It is a lot to take in.
So we've talked about transparency, ethics, this human-centered approach.
Right.
But at the end of the day, making sure AI is used for good,
Yeah.
that's going to take all of us working together, right?
It will.
So what can we do as individuals? What are some practical things we can do to shape the future of AI?
Well, one of the most important things is to stay informed.
Okay.
Don't avoid these conversations.
Right.
Read articles, listen to podcasts, follow experts in the field. The more we understand about AI, the better prepared we'll be to make good decisions and advocate for, responsible development.
It's like we have to become informed citizens of the AI age. We can't just leave it up to the tech companies or the governments to figure it all out.
We can't.
It's on all of us.
It is.
Don't be afraid to ask questions either.
Oh, please don't.
Challenge assumptions, think critically about what you're reading and hearing.
Yeah, be skeptical.
And if something about AI doesn't feel right,
Right.
Speak up.
Exactly. Don't stay silent.
It's like we're all part of this huge experiment.
Yeah, in a way we are.
And we have to be active in shaping how it turns out.
Absolutely.
So we need to voice our concerns, our hopes, our vision for the future.
That's how we make a difference.
And this isn't a one-time thing either.
It's not, no.
The world of AI is always changing. We got to stay engaged and be ready to adapt.
Exactly. It's a constant process of learning and evolving.
What seems impossible today could be our reality tomorrow.
That's the nature of this technology.
AI is powerful. It could be incredibly beneficial.
For sure.
But it could also be incredibly dangerous.
Absolutely.
It all depends on how we choose to use it.
That's the key takeaway.
So let's choose wisely.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such an amazing journey exploring all these complex issues around AI.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much, but honestly, I have more questions now than answers.
That's often the case with these kinds of topics, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it
It
is.
sparks more curiosity.
But that's okay,
It is.
because this is just the beginning of understanding AI.
Exactly. It's an ongoing exploration.
And it's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely.
So to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for being here.
Keep asking questions, stay curious, and let's work together to make sure AI is used to build a better future for everyone.